were to go to sleep one night and awake to find that you had been transported to a cold, dark cave, the rational mind provides for 5 possible explanations. I'm dead. I'm dreaming. Somebody played a trick on me. I'm crazy. Or I am in a cave.
Getting any movie made is hard, especially when you're doing it independently without the support of a studio. So it was about raising initially development money to even write the script. And then once we got a script together, then it was raising more money to actually make the movie. And that just took time because in the meantime, because I'm not just a producer, I was working on projects as an actor. So I would get sort of, distracted doing an acting job. And then each time I would come back to this project. So it just took time to raise all the money. And it's a little movie about the slice of this woman's life, and it's harder and harder to get these kinds of little movies made anymore. But also, I realized as a woman and as a woman of color, producing projects have become a necessity, really, because had I not produced this project for myself, I don't know if I would have, if a project like this with this meaty character would have just, landed on my doorstep. So I've been telling actors lately that I've been talking to, as much as it's about learning the craft and studying, it's also about learning how to maybe produce things. And as women, we have to tell our own stories.
I'm locked up. They're finna put me in jail.
What were you doing running in traffic? You don't recall, do you?
What do you think is wrong with me?
Right away, I thought this is a good chance to sort of put some light on this dark subject and show the other side of mental illness and what people really struggle with, and help people have some empathy and compassion for this. And as an actor, to play 3 characters in one was, of course, you just wanted to chew that up, because that's so rich. I don't come across parts like that very often. And I remember our director, Jeffrey Sachs, said to me, right after he got hired for the job, he said, "Okay, now, I want to know one thing. Are you going to be able to play all these characters without me calling cut?" And I had never thought of it like that, and I said, sure, I'm definitely, having no idea if I could do that. So I was terrified. But what I've learned about myself is that when I'm terrified of something, that means that's exactly what I should be doing. I'm like a moth to a flame that way. There's something to be learned there. There's some experience I need to have, and I go towards those experiences more than running away from those.
Concentrate on the light. Ask who I'm speaking with.
Well, you never end a sentence with a preposition, Doctor. Isn't that what we were taught in school?
I usually find a fragrance that is sort of the smell of the woman that I play. And for this movie, I couldn't use my little trick because I had to play 3 characters, and one of the scenes all in the same scene, so that wasn't going to work. So I had to find new ways in this movie for me, of identifying with who these characters were. And I've learned to come out of it, because in the beginning of my career, I used to carry the character home. I was a lot more method because I was learning, and I hadn't studied as long as I've studied now. So I would carry them home, and it really wasn't a good thing to bring home some of these people.
You gotta see who you are. You're her, and she's you.
When you're looking at scripts, does that play a big part into it, whether it's a studio versus an indie?
Yeah, and I think for me, I've found that they both have a place in my career. It's almost like, you do one for your career, then you do one for the craft. And I think to stay viable in our industry today, you have to be able to do both. And sometimes when you do those bigger pictures, or the popcorn ones or the commercial movies, they're not as rewarding in a certain way because the design of them is completely different. But if I try to keep it in perspective, that's a very important part of making movies too, sheer entertainment. But these kind of movies, Monsters Ball, and these little, smaller, more complex pieces are also, that's for the soul, that's for the art of the craft. And I think it's about finding the balance of the two. At least for me, that's what has made me most happy.